Hi, and welcome to this installment of Frank and Mary here in Hudson. If you haven't seen the show before, my name is Art Bergeron. My day job is as an elder law attorney at Myrick O'Connell, but this is not about my day job. It is about Frank and Mary, my good friends whose goal in life is to live in their house until they die and be buried in the backyard. And if that's in Hudson, that means they want to stay right there. So I have had a wonderful co-host, John Parent, who had been a selectman for a number of years. He is not joining us for a while right now, but I've got a great guest also who has been on before, and I thought this would be an ideal time for you all to see her. If you're like Frank and Mary, and therefore your local Hudson hero is Janice Long, to talk to Janice about kind of what's going on and where things are, because this is kind of a momentous time. I mean, we just went through this incredible Memorial Day weekend where everybody was going to have a good time, except that it rained and it was 45 degrees. And that was the bad news. But suddenly you're showing up places, and masks aren't being worn, and it's strange. And I find myself, and Janice, I'm sure, it looks like Janice has got a side conversation going. That's okay, because she's there at the senior center, and there are people at the senior center, right? And that's very exciting. So I remember when this started, Janice, it was like somebody just turned off a light switch. And all of a sudden, it's like somebody turned on the light switch. And in the meantime, we've been in this strange land, for like a long time. So I know I wanted to talk to you a little. I think this is a good time to be talking about what happened about the last 12 to 14 months, and how you reacted to it, and how seniors reacted to it, because you've been dealing with folks regularly. There have been some real sad moments. There have been some real heroes here about doing all of this. And then I'd like to talk, about where things are right now and where you think things are going, like where things are. One of the things you've always said to me is, God, I can't talk. Things are going to change tomorrow, and things have continued to change so rapidly. But right. I think this is a good time to be kind of talking about that.
You're absolutely right, Arthur. We're definitely, we're on the eve of an important time, right? We've just spent 15 months pretty much isolated at home, staying at home, wearing a mask if you go outside for grocery shopping or medical appointments or going to work, right? Not going to birthday parties, weddings, missing social events, not even going to funerals, right? And so we've had 15 months of that, and wearing our masks all the time. But now it seems like we're in this transitional or recovery period, right? And rightly so, with the rollout of the vaccines, and we have about 51% as of a couple of days ago of our country being fully vaccinated, 52% being partially vaccinated, and then in Hudson specifically, I have the paper. We have, I think it's 52% are fully vaccinated, and 64% have had at least one dose. So we are in this transitional recovery period, and how is that going to look? How are we rolling that out? And it's been our decision in the Hudson Senior Center, and I feel it's been, other senior center directors are looking at this the same way. We want to take it slow. We want to start opening up slowly with limited activities, maybe watch the number of people that are coming into the building, excuse me, and just see how that works. In Hudson, we're actually requiring people to wear masks to come in. And what I'm finding too is, I know me for myself, I feel pretty secure with my mask, and I think it's going to take a little bit for me to actually give it out in a public setting. So we are requiring masks in Hudson, and people that I've talked to, I think that is something that's going to be hard for some people to do, is to remove the mask. Don't you agree? Do you find that too? I mean, some people are great with it. They want to take it off and, oh, this is great. This is liberating. And other people are, no, I don't want to take it off. I feel comfortable. So, you know, we're looking at this. We don't know what normal is going to look like, right? But we're going to try to take little steps.
Little steps.
And Executive Office of Elder Affairs is supporting of the slower opening, and so is our public health, you know, in Hudson. So we're trying to take it slow, little by little, and see how it goes. Today we opened up. We have card players coming in. We've got about 12 people in the card room playing cards. We've got the deck outfitted with chairs and tables, so people come, if they want to just sit outside and talk, they can do that. But
and so Janice, for people who are there are, you've got a mask requirement, but is the social distancing requirement now gone, so that people can play cards and you don't have to be throwing cards like across the room to people?
Right. Yeah, we do. You know, it's kind of hard to do the social distancing when you're playing cards, but we do have large square tables we put out. I think that will help a little bit. And we'll just see what happens for the month of June and see, you know, what the numbers look like in July. You know, now that we're opening up in these sports venues with, you know, hundreds of thousands of people and most of them not wearing masks, we'll wait and see, you know, what happens, right?
Right. And if people are going to the senior center right now and they're outside, is the mask requirement apply both inside and outside the building?
Well, again, because we don't ask people if they're, you know, vaccinated. I think for just the month of June, yeah, we are going to do that. We're going to require the masks.
You know, and I think that's important for people to understand. You know, that one of the reasons why people are really being hesitant to eliminate the masks is specifically in public spaces like the senior center, that you're not allowed to ask people whether or not they've been vaccinated. That it's a public building, and that's just one of those things. You can't do it that way, which means that for everyone, you're really doing this kind of for everyone's safety, is that because you're just saying everybody needs to try to be safe in this way, because there's no way to guarantee at what level of vaccination anybody in the building is, right?
Right. And it just isn't fair to ask. I mean, we know people that for health reasons can't get the vaccine. There's a lot of people in that situation. And of course, we know there's people that are choosing not to, but certainly with the numbers that we just talked about, with 51% of the people in the country fully vaccinated and 52% partially vaccinated, those are really impressive numbers, and they go up every day.
Right.
So, you know, we're looking at possibly being 70% fully vaccinated by July.
And so regarding other things that are happening at the senior center, can you talk about other programs that are happening? Can you talk about Daybreak? I know that one of the really hard things for you throughout this, as I know we would talk about it, and you really did a great job with building this Daybreak program and really making it happen really across 3 communities, you know, and so it was really hard to be not doing this, because if there was one group that, you know, is for whom it is especially important to be seeing other people and not just being at home, it's folks with memory issues and their caregivers, you know. So can you talk about Daybreak and then talk about other programs that are kind of happening and coming up, and then let's just talk about the last year.
Okay. So Daybreak, I'm glad you brought up Daybreak, because we are starting Daybreak next week. So we're looking forward to bringing Daybreak back. It's been really hard for the caregivers, you know, 15 months of, you know, 24/7. It's been very stressful for the caregiver. It's also taken its toll on our Daybreak participants, you know. In January, before the pandemic, you know, started, we had over 40 people enrolled in our Daybreak program.
Oh, Janice, I just realized, can you, for the folks who are thinking, what is this again? Can you just give folks about just 2 minutes on Daybreak and the concept and how you got to that 40 people, you know, before the pandemic?
Daybreak is a social day program that we started in Hudson in 2012. And it was actually a way for us to give back to the community for renovating this beautiful building. So we figured that there would be caregivers that could use a break, and we started the program on Thursdays, 3 hours to 3.5 hours every Thursday, and we provide lunch and activities and socialization, and it was a great program. It started out slow, you know, we had 1 or 2 people, and over the years it started to grow. And then when we became a dementia-friendly community with Northborough and Marlborough, and you were involved in that, we decided after the survey results came in that people said they wanted more services, you know, education and services. And then we thought, well, we're providing a wonderful service for people, for caregivers. Why don't we include Northborough and Marlborough, which we did. And after a few years, it just took off, and people can go to all 3 sites, you know, drop your loved one off and have, you know, lunch and socialization activities, or they can just go to one, Marlborough, Hudson, or Northborough. We all have a different day, so we do Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 11:30 to 2:30.
And so this was really cooking along.
It was
and then COVID hit, and bang, and now all of this is, and now all of these people who, the reason why they're participating is for the folks with memory issues, is this gives you somebody to be with who's got memory issues. So you don't feel like you're just kind of like sticking out. And then for all the caregivers who but didn't necessarily have to stay, it also gave them a break. And all of a sudden, all of that stopped.
It just stopped. It just stopped. And it was really, really hard on the caregivers. So, and again, and for our participants. So as I said, we've had over 40, and now I think if we have 20, that's a lot. You know, I think it took its toll. The isolation and not socializing with even family or friends has taken its toll on a lot of our participants. And you know, the nature of that disease is it's progressive. And so it did progress to a point that we no longer, you know, some of them just can't return to our program, which is sad.
Right. So they lost that wonderful year, because that's the point. I think, as I so often talk to, you know, folks, obviously I do a lot of with folks with memory loss. I said, you know, it's progressive. It only goes in one direction. So the goal in life is to make every day as good as it can be, because the next day may not be so hot. So for these folks, you just lost like 14 months of their lives at a time when things weren't going well. So that's a really, it's sad. It's just sad, you know.
It's just very sad. So, you know, we're going to build it up again, and we're going to start next week. And we have the same facilitators. Lisa and Christine are coming back.
That's great.
And I can say this because we put it in the newsletter. Everybody's fully vaccinated. And we just look forward to bringing that wonderful service back to our, you know.
And now are Northborough and Marlborough still participating?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So you've got this all coordinated still among the three.
Yeah, we're all starting next week.
That is just terrific. That's such an important program. Now, in addition to that, tell me about other things that are going on. Are your exercises classes going? Are you doing, you know, I know I've talked to you about, you know, I'm obviously happy to go back and do some seminars there, you know, soon, once you guys are all ready, you know. What else is going on at the Senior Center? Well,
for right now, again, you know, we're taking it slow. I'm keeping our fitness programs on Zoom. They're doing very well on Zoom. So I said, we'll just keep them where they are for right now. We brought back the card players. So they're in today. Right when I came in here, I saw a couple of pool players came in. We opened up the billiards room. So we have a couple of pool players coming in. We're going to have 4 movie days this month.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so people have already called to come in for that. And our quilting group is coming back, and chess. So we're starting with those things right now. I figure we'll wait for fitness, with people jumping up and down, and
Yeah.
we'll wait a little bit on that. But fitness is going great on Zoom. People are happy with it. Our numbers are great. I think we have over 300 people participating in Zoom fitness right now.
Wow. Wow. That's terrific. That's
Yeah.
just terrific. So are
Yeah.
and that's, now, do you think going forward, is there, what of any of these things do you think is going to stay, or is going to, like, for example, you're talking about that Zoom fitness, which may very well be attracting people who otherwise may not have gone to the senior center. I know that, we've talked about, during this last year, I've continued to do seminars, and I've actually been able to increase the number because I do a seminar every month now, because I'm not needing to go to 10 senior centers in a month, So, going forward, what of these things do you think how has this changed the way you will work going forward? Assuming, as I think we're both hoping against hope, that this is going to continue to just open up to a new normal. So the question is, what is the new normal? The way you think about it.
Well, I think Zoom is here to stay. I think that I see our fitness classes kind of being a hybrid, if you will. They can do the fitness classes here when we're ready to do that at the center, and Zoom it live, and people at home can still participate if they don't want to come in, and they still want to do it at home.
Right.
So I think that there's a place clearly for Zoom. If I can see, if we have a presentation and maybe people just aren't ready to go into a group setting, we can do a Zoom presentation with it. We can have people in the building and people watching it at home. So I agree with you. I think it could open the door up for more people participating.
Yeah, I think that's to rethink the way, especially for seniors, especially for our people, right? For Frank and Mary and everybody that thinks like Frank and Mary, who would tend to be, many of them more at home, would tend to just be at home. Even pre-COVID, they would just tend to be at home. And so to get them even to come to the senior center, right? Especially if the weather's bad, or in the winter time and stuff, it was like, oh, geez, it's a big hassle. But this really gives you the ability to have this kind of outreach kind of all the time, which is great. So talk for a few minutes, Janice, before we finish, about this experience, about this last year. I think there have been some real heroes this last year. There have been some amazing, outreach things that have been terrific, right? There's been some real sadness. I know I think I added up, I lost 17 clients, but that's all I do is elder law. So, my folks, that was their age group. One of my sisters, her husband died of COVID. It happened to a lot of people, right? So from your perspective, what was it? Talk about kind of the highs and the lows of what all of this was for you.
Well, clearly it was devastating to be told to leave the building, our beautiful building that we worked so hard to get, and to stay home. I found it difficult working from home. We all had to go home. After about a month and a half, I started no one was coming into the building, so I started coming in by myself, making the phone calls, every day. I will tell you, I did our numbers. We reached out to almost 1,300 people between March, when we left, to today. Over 1,300 people. It was over, I think it was over, I don't remember it's over 6,000 times. Over 6,000 times.
Right.
So we were still able to do, social services. The hard part, obviously, was that people, we work so hard at senior centers to get people to come out of their houses and to get involved and socialize. And now we're saying you got to stay home. So that was really hard, and it took its toll on people. I really think we can't underestimate the psychological impact that this past 15 months has had on everybody. I think it's affected all of us in some fashion. But I think having them, stay at home and making the phone calls, in the beginning, it was great. you know, but as time went on and you could hear the difference in people's voices, and it wasn't, you know, the loneliness of it all.
Well, that's interesting. So
Hard.
at first, because you had volunteers, you had all your staff making calls, and it was like, oh, we're all in this together, and we're going to make it through. But remember, in the first months, you thought, well, this would be like for a month, this will be for like a couple of months, and then it was sounding like it's going to be like 3 years. It's like you said, just that I bet you could pick it up on the tone of people's voices.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, when we could hear that, we knew those were people that we had to spend a little more time with and make maybe some more phone calls.
Right.
But, I think that was the hardest part, was hearing the loneliness and knowing that there was not a whole lot that you could do. What was really great was the high school. One of the teachers at the high school had 16 students, senior students, who did a pen pal program with 16 of our seniors.
Oh.
And we're actually arranging for them to meet in June. And
that's great.
And what was great, Virginia actually, she spent a lot of time looking at the seniors, because she got information from the teacher on this in each student, and she really matched the senior to the senior student, and they love their pen pals. So that was really a great program. I wish we could have had more, but it was a wonderful program, and I look forward to having them meet. I think you talked about being creative and how we can reach out to people. I think the grab and go lunches, the grab and go craft projects have been a big hit. It was a way for us to actually see people, to connect with people that way. But it has, it's been a tough year. It really has been.
But I suppose those grab and goes, I mean, it just, once again, it, like the Zoom, it caused you to, it almost forced everybody to kind of think of these other ways to connect, just because you didn't have the traditional ways to connect,
Right.
But,
I mean, we have Bemis Farm. I think they're out of Spencer. They come once a month. We have craft project, and they bring all these beautiful flowers with directions on how to put them together. We have 50, 60 people come for that. They deliver them.
Yeah.
Put them outside. We put them in people's cars, and off they go. So, it's really great when we can connect to people that way. And they always say, thank you, this will keep me busy for the weekend. So.
And that was the real challenge. That was the real challenge, was not only dealing with interconnectedness, but just dealing with boredom,
Right.
That's one of the hardest parts, to some extent, about being a senior and being alone, is, it's so easy to get sucked into just watching TV, and boy, that can be a real pit,
But, they're so resilient. They really are. I think that they've done a really great job. And even through all of this, through, March to, I guess it was yesterday, I was looking at our numbers. We had 139 new people, for social services, 139 new people. So social services has still been really busy, still doing the fuel assistance, Mass Health, Shine, all of that stuff. That did not stop. But I think what was hard was, we had to limit our transportation to doctor's appointments, food shopping. We are going to be opening it up, I think, next month to hairdressing. So, those are things that people really, they need, because it makes them feel good.
It makes them feel better. Well, Janice, once again, I know that you were stressed out about it a lot. I think you did a great job. This has been really, really a difficult time. I know people are looking forward to seeing you again and your staff, because they're so sweet. Everybody's just so sweet. So folks, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I know you haven't enjoyed the last 14 months, but Janice and her folks have just really killed themselves to get you connected. And I think the greatest thing you can do for them right now is very simple. Just stop by. Just stop by.
That's right.
Say hello. Say thanks. Talk about new programs, be involved. I think one of the things that really these last 14 months taught us is the value of being connected, right? So get connected. Even if you weren't as connected before, get connected now, because you can. So thank you very much for watching. Janice, thanks a million for doing this.
Thank you, Arthur.
And thank you for the folks at HUD-TV for doing this show. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next installment of Frank and Mary here in Hudson. Thank you very much.
Thank you.